it's me, I'm back. And, where did I go? I was away for like 2 weeks. Because I don't even know why. I just got sidetracked. And I would like to say that I was accomplishing things, but I totally wasn't. Happy Halloween. I had a video that I'm still kind of trying to edit. That was for, I was making it in September, or actually August, when I went back to it, because I kept seeing shadow creatures, which is a thing. It's a thing to see shadow creatures. And it was close enough to like September that I'm like, well, September is close enough to October, and October is spooky time. And so I figured I would just hang on to it, which is always not a smart thing for me, because I have the ADHD, and anytime I tell myself, oh, I'll do it later, it never happens. I never get it accomplished. That's one of the reasons why there will be some weeks where I will be here and I'll put out like 4 videos a week, and then 2 weeks will go by and I won't put out any video. And you would think, well, if you've made 4 videos, why don't you just like stagger the release or something like that? And I don't do that, because if I try and do something smart like that, somehow it just will lead to me not actually releasing it, or putting it off, or it will lead me to making less videos. So, stuff like that. It's nighttime right now when I'm recording this, 11:50 p.m. And I'm drinking coffee, but it's decaf. So apparently coffee has, what's it bad? It's got cholesterol. It can up your cholesterol. So a part of me thinks I should not drink coffee anymore. But because I have heart problems, which led to the, did I have it close to a stroke? I don't know. And that's what led to the seeing shadow people. Okay, start recording. All right. Daily habits. What is this for? Psychology. Daily habits like sleep and exercise can shape brain connectivity for weeks. The new findings challenge the common perception that brain connectivity is influenced only by immediate, I don't remember where this is facing, by immediate events, revealing instead that behaviors from up to 15 days prior can continue to shape the brain's connections. Sounds good to me, I kind of thought. I thought like the brain was all, don't do that. I thought the brain connections were always like, I don't know, why only 15 days? I feel like it should be more. Past behaviors. Past behaviors can influence future behaviors, feelings, thoughts, mood. We're not always aware of why we feel stressed or depressed on specific days with no obvious reason. This is why mental health experts always stress the importance of delaying gratification over instant gratification. You want to build a foundation of positive routine to benefit your mental and physical health on a long-term basis. Long-term healthy habits create and strengthen synapse activity and connectivity and overall brain health. The more adept, calm, organized, and happy you will be. So essentially, humans are happiest when we plan for the future. It's conducive, or conductive to the way we grow, thrive, and succeed, and even in a way that's explained by science. I really screwed up that last sentence. So yeah, meditate and do yoga. I feel like for me, yoga is a better form of meditation. Like it gets me into my body, but it also like connects me with my body. But I have to be, or I find that I am way more present-minded when I'm doing it. Rather than, like if I lift weights, run, I end up when I run, I end up going into imagination land, which is fun. It's a fun place to be. And when I lift weights, I'm less present. I try to be, because it's like you're supposed to like focus on what weightlifting you're doing, focus on the muscle, focus on the body, but I'm not great at that. But yoga makes me slow down and makes me makes me slow down and makes me mindful. And I end up watching on YouTube yoga with Adrian, and very often, she'll be like, think about your breathing, or think, do this or do that, and so it keeps me on that mindful path. It's like, hey, were you thinking about that thing that happened 5 years ago? Why are you still doing that? Just breathe in and out. Thank you, Yoga with Adrian. So the things we do shape who we are. That's profound. It makes sense that events and experiences in our life leave an imprint on our brain. And I like the idea of trying to sort out that long-term implications of that. It seems this could be relevant to people with PTSD, but this study doesn't offer much about the how or why. It's more like a teaser saying that we should study it more. I feel like that's everything. I don't know why I'm on our psychology, but I feel like that's psychology in general. We learn something, let's study it more. That's science in general, right? Autistic tummy syndrome. Study identifies gut microbe imbalances that predict autism and ADHD. Okay, this is funny. A mouse model of ASD. Just a nice little snippet from one of the papers this article is about. How do they know if a mouse has autism? A little autistic mouse. I wonder how can they make a mouse model? I doubt they understand a mouse's mind. They don't even understand the autistic mind. They just see the apparatus. This is funny. Anything is possible with enough pipe cleaners and stick-on googly eyes. Oh, here we go. They're assuming we're underdeveloped rather differently built? Well, both. Could be both. And I doubt mice bully each other. Why? Maybe they bully each other. I wonder how many discoveries can deem no longer valid because of this model shit. Alright, I'm gonna get off evil autism. I had a problem with them a little while ago. Okay, how about this one? We do not, oh, this is CPTSD. Getting all the hot takes from what I deal with. My entire life has been me researching what is wrong with me. Let's look at all the ways that I could be effed up. So, hot take, we do not feel younger. We are younger. We are victims of environment-based developmental delay. Maybe, possibly. It isn't that complicated. A developmental delay is defined as a delay in the appearance of normal developmental milestones achieved during infancy or childhood caused by organic, psychological, or environmental factors. Such examples of delays in development include social and emotional skills, cognitive skills, speech and language skills. The entire healthcare system is based off normies, and they do not expect that a perfectly functional child at birth and infancy will steadily degrade as they get older. They are not entirely to blame, as who could expect an adult to so thoroughly ruin a child that it results in visible brain damage. It's complicated if you think you're, like I went through CPTSD, like in my mind, and ADHD before I really began to think in terms of autism. I look at father and sister, and there's so much neuro diversity in my family that a part of me was like, I don't know that it is CPTSD that I thought that I was dealing with, like trauma from being bullied or something. But I don't think so. I definitely was bullied and it definitely affected me, but I don't think that caused any issues that I have. Do you need to know that? Why is autism infantilized so much? I've struggled a lot with people infantilizing me, and part of it was that I looked young, and part of it is, I guess, that I act young sometimes. Let's apply the autistic urge to know why to autism itself. Why is it infantilized? Why do people constantly tell us that we're so smart but immature socially? That we're incapable to be independent? Is it because of the stigma of intellectual disability? Because of the severe autism? Because some people do delay socially? ? Because some people do struggle with executive function, but despite being mature, they're slapped. They're slapped as immature? Why? All of the above? Yeah. The first thing that comes to mind are meltdowns. That wasn't true for me. I managed to keep my meltdowns secret. Definitely people view that as just tantrums when they really are involuntary. I mean, I would say tantrums when it's a little kid is involuntary. It's just that most people, neurotypical, they grow out of tantrums. And so to see an adult have a tantrum reminds them of being young. So, the next sentence. I think tantrums are probably involuntarily too. Yeah. Okay, a tantrum, this person believes, is someone getting angry and throwing a fit over something that can be really small. Neurotypicals can do it, while meltdowns are an involuntary reaction that only autistic people can have. I mean, I see a tantrum as, it can be anger, it can be throwing something, but it can be crying and flapping on the ground and, and I don't. Okay, here we go, and this is smart. To an external observer, they appear the same, especially if they trigger for the meltdown is something that the observer considers minor. Meltdowns aren't exclusive to autistic people. They can happen to anyone, blah, blah, blah. Yes. And they happen more often to kids, and so they're considered childish because they happen more often to kids. That's kind of simple to figure out. Most NTs are bigger babies. We're not. What? Than us when it comes to meltdowns. I don't know what that means. I think they're saying that neurotypicals act like babies when the autistic person is having a meltdown. I've heard of meltdowns that autistic people have had that can get pretty bad, can get pretty violent. I mean, if you're an adult guy and you have a tantrum and your meltdown, and you react involuntarily, like I don't know. This is where I don't really fit. I don't fit autistic people, but I don't fit neurotypical people. 'Cause I cannot believe, I can't get myself to believe that it's completely involuntary. It might feel involuntary, but like I said, I've held it in and freaked out later. But maybe, I don't know. Never mind, I don't know. Maybe I just don't struggle with that. Maybe I just had the ability to be voluntary about it, or I had the ability to suppress. A lot of us, including me, are incredibly naive. I'm smart about things. I'm street smart too. Keep my eyes open, but I'm done with regular people who should or seem to be kind or safe. I just believe them and don't consider they might be lying. I had to be repeatedly slapped by neurotypicals. We're lying, idiot. You're a naive moron. And eventually I figured out, except now, I say that, but the truth is that I am not naive anymore, but it's kind of the opposite, so I kind of still am. But when I meet someone and they're nice to me, my initial response is like, what does this person want? And who is this person? And even if they're nice for a while, I'm like, do I trust them? Do I know them? Are they trying to take advantage of me? And so I've just replaced being naive with being overly paranoid, which I think a lot of autistic people can do. You learn that you don't have the gumption to suss out who to be trusted and who isn't to be trusted. And so you just don't, you either trust everyone or you trust no one. And I guess I'm at this stage of trusting no one for the most part. Okay, so how about this response? I don't know about the details, but apparently there are some processes in our brains that slow down in puberty when they're supposed to speed up. So not basically the neural pruning, right? So an autistic brain really is different and less mature per se, resulting in behaviors neurotypicals would describe as childlike. Obviously, that's not a valid reason to see autistic individuals as less capable or to not take them seriously. Autistics can be lame. Right, so the neuropruning, we have less neuropruning, autistic people, so we retain aspects of youth and aspects of childlike behavior. And this is also a reason we get overstimulated so easily, that we basically have more loose neurons, or less pruning going on. And again, I always say this when I talk about neuropruning, but when people are neuropruning, if there are people like autistics who do not prune enough, or they have a lack of neuropruning, well, isn't it like kind of an obvious, thing that some people have too much neuropruning? I don't know what that would look like. And maybe less adaptability, less learning. I don't know. This person says the sexual part of puberty, or no? And it's kind of all intermixed. Not exactly, but around the same point in time. In the brain, there's a process known as pruning, in which the brain cuts down on the number. Is this the same person or a different person? That's a different. In which the brain cuts down on the number of neural pathways an individual uses. This generally makes information processing more efficient, if less open-minded. And then there's a considerably higher than average rate of pruning in adolescence. And it really reminds me, I'm a very imaginative guy. I mean, and it makes artistic, right? Like back behind me and over here. By the way, new. I don't know if this shows up. New guy I have painted. It doesn't really look right. It's supposed to be a mud skipper. It kind of looks like a mud skipper to me, if you know what it is. But it kind of doesn't. Well, that's okay. I made a mud skipper because I was thinking about the difference. I was in my mind imagining a scenario of goldfish being the neurotypicals and mud skippers being the autistic people. It made sense at the time. Let's get back to this. And but what I was going to say something about, doesn't matter. In autistic folks, that pruning occurs far less. The byproduct of this is less efficient thought, reducing overall processing speed. Right. And for me, I have such a latent response time that people, when in terms of meeting, talking to people, new people, was that they would talk to me, ask me a question, or say something, and I would need to respond quickly, and I would be thinking of all these different things, and all the different possible responses, and it would be splintering into like 10 different responses, maybe not that many, but 5 different. And so I'm like, well, which one do I say? I remember specifically, I was driving people, doing Uber in Charleston, South Carolina. There's a college, the College of Charleston, and the people in my car were like, there's a college here, and I'm like, college, Charleston is not big. did you not look at all on a map before you got here? Like, why are you here? Why are you a tourist of a place you don't even have a clue? Like, yeah, there's a college. But then they said, is the college big? And my brain shut down because I'm like, I don't know what you consider big. I don't know. Like, it involves way more. It's complicated. Like, big compared to what? I mean, if you've never been to a city, Charleston itself might be a place you perceive as big. I know at one point in my life, I perceived it when I was like a real kid. I perceived it as big. Well, I move over to Seattle or be in Seattle, and now Charleston is tiny. Go from Seattle to like Bangkok, and like Seattle compared to Bangkok, Seattle is tiny. So you're asking me about the size of the college? Like, I don't know. What do you consider small? What do you consider big? It took me a long time, and I never answered them. I just went like, I don't know. Another reason why I was always perceived as being stupid. Someone asked me a question. My easiest response was always, I don't know. Just, I don't know. Some people might say yes. The response, some people might say no. I either go with no or I don't know. Because, hey, do you want to do blah, blah, blah? No. I don't even hear what you said. I'm too scared. I don't want to do it. Hey, what do you think about this? Is this blah, blah, blah? I don't know. That was the only way I got. That was my version of masking. Just say you don't know. If they think they're stupid, well, what are you going to do? Oh, look at this. I keep stopping myself before I get to the next paragraph, and they say exactly what I'm saying, the next paragraph. I think this is what leads to the pattern of autistic people showing generally slower processing speed while having a comparatively high IQ, in that they're less prone to brains can see patterns that more efficient ones cannot. The PsyD who failed to diagnose. What is this? The PsyD, the psychologist, doctor, psychiatrist, who failed to diagnose me appropriately, failed to recognize that this pattern was present, even though he noted that the discrepancy in my objective measures as making it hard to render a FSIQ, don't know, and also presented a very outdated stereotype, there you go, of autism to compare against me, to dismiss me. The other psych I knew, a psychologist I knew who was more specialized in developmental disabilities, called that out right away. Yeah, I mean, I have no idea what the FSIQ or PsyD, full-scale IQ test. That's FSIQ. Let's do the PsyD. Here we go. PsyD, oh, just doctorate of psychology. I've never seen the PsyD before. Okay, very interesting. We all learned something new today. Isn't pruning the exact opposite of monotropic focus, special interest? Well, it might seem that way. They are distinct phenomena. This is why I like Reddit. You guys are so thoughtful. Monotropic thought is more so a combination of executive functioning and obsessive-compulsive tendencies born out of anxiety. Both traits are commonly found among autistic folk. Pruning, on the other hand, kinda limits the sorts of thought that come to your mind outside external influence in favor of what's most beneficial on an evolutionary scale. That generally means thinking what one understands most other folks are gonna think. That generally means thinking what one understands most other folk are gonna think. This leads to social cohesion and confers evolutionary benefit. Motherfucker, this guy is... This guy has a high IQ. Just the way they write. Very interesting. Tell me more. This leads to social cohesion and confers evolutionary benefit. Well, yes. And of course, there's a thought in the possibilities that autistic people actually have more Neanderthal DNA, and it is assumed that the reason that the Homo sapien, how do you say it? The other ones, they won out because of their social cohesion, their violent tendencies. I like to think of, not a clue if this is true, but I like to think of the, Neanderthals, autistic little dudes. And I like to think of the other guys, the Homo sapiens. What are they called? Neanderthals versus the what? Neanderthals versus humans? Homo sapiens. Is that it? Isn't there like a Homo sapien or something like that? That's what you're supposed to say. Okay. Homo sapiens. I like that they made the Homo sapien a white dude. Behavioral difference. Neanderthals and modern humans also exhibited differences in their hunting and gathering practices. Neanderthals were primarily big game hunters, relying on close-range hunting techniques to take down large prey such as mammoths and bison. Modern humans, on the other hand, were more versatile in their hunting strategies. Well, it's not helpful with behavioral differences. Utilizing long-range weapons and a wider variety of prey. I have no idea of the correctness of any of this. In terms of social structures and communication, Neanderthals, I just put that in there. Neanderthals are believed to have lived in smaller, more isolated groups compared to larger, more interconnected communities of modern humans. This is 100% AI art. What? There's a what is that? Cacanderthal? Man? What is this? What is this letter right there? Asian modern woman. There's an Asian modern woman. Right there. A modern lady of Asian descent. I want to see more comparisons. Okay. Is this straight up? They didn't even get rid of that stuff. Homem imanis. What? So, I wonder where they get these things. Did they make the AI art themselves? already said, even as an artist, I don't really care about AI art. I don't see it as stealing or whatever. And it's just my thought, my feelings. So anyways, I have AI art that I sell on stock photos. Make $1 a day, sometimes $2. Maybe they can use my art and put it on here. I can't believe they didn't get rid of this stuff. That wouldn't be that hard to get rid of that stuff. I'm such a perfectionist, that's why I can't get anywhere in life. I'd spend an hour on each image. Neanderthals did not contribute mitochondrial DNA to modern humans, so they are most likely not our direct ancestors. What now? Yeah, I'm gonna search Neanderthal autism. Link. Look at that. Some genetic traits inherited from Neanderthals could increase a person's susceptibility to autism, according to collaborative research involving scientists from Clemson University. Hey, South Carolina. Good job, South Carolina, Clemson University. While people with autism don't have more Neanderthal DNA than those who do not, specific variations in DNA passed down from Neanderthals are more common in people with autism. These Neanderthal-derived variations do not always result in autism, but rather increase susceptibility to the condition. Good to know. Good to know. Good job, Clemson. You guys are so smart. You're so smart. Most modern humans have an average of around 2 to 3% Neanderthal DNA. This is the first evidence that I'm aware of actually showing that Neanderthal DNA is associated with autism. There's the guy. He's wearing his nice little Clemson shirt. Good job, dude. Good job, Alex. Alex Feltus. Neanderthals emerged in Europe. So where did the Homo sapiens? They came from Africa, but they totally looked white. Homo sapiens arrived in Europe from Africa as well, about 54,000 years ago. The two species interbred. Oh yeah, they did. 14 years ago, the first whole genome sequence of the Neanderthal genome was published after scientists extracted DNA from the bones of 3 female Neanderthals that were discovered in a cave in Croatia. Since then, scientists have associated Neanderthal DNA to several human health conditions, including autoimmune diseases, prostate cancer, type 2 diabetes, skull morphology, depression, and protection against schizophrenia. Thanks. Gave us one good thing. We gotta find some more good things. I mean, I guess, listen. Autistic. Not everybody will develop autism. They should say, and also the other good thing they gave us was autistic people. They found the hypothesis is not that Neanderthals give us autism. It's that Neanderthals gave us some of the gene tweaks that give a higher susceptibility for autism. Autism is a complex trait. It is controlled by many, many genes. A big part of what we do in my lab is to try to understand the level of complexity of the 60,000 genes in the human genome. How many genes are at play when you're developing autism or cancer or any other complex trait? We embrace complexity. Complexity. We embrace complexity. We don't try to erase complexity. All right. Details were published in the journal, something like Molecular Psychiatry. Enrichment of a subset of Neanderthal polymorphisms and autistic probands and siblings. What the fuck is a proband? A proband is a subject being studied or reported. Okay, so I got ADHD. Also, y'all, that was me accidentally puffing into the microphone, and then I had to be a monkey for a second. A proband is an individual. Oh shit. A proband is an individual who is affected by a genetic condition or who is concerned they are at risk. Usually the proband is the first person in a family who brings the concern of a genetic disorder to the attention of blah blah blah. So I guess this is why I see adults as extra alien, because in a way they are. Oh, wow, that mind blew me. Wow, that really hit me hard. Because I completely get that. One of the harder things is like feeling more connected with children. Like I don't know how to say that. I don't want it to come across as creepy, but like yeah, I get, like what I mean is that I get kids. Like I understand why they're doing things in a way that I don't understand adults. It's not completely, but because in a way they are, due to this pruning thing, changing people so drastically when they mature, kinda, in a sense that they become almost alien to any other outgroup. Basically, it trades off near-mind reading ability for open-mindedness in many regards. Admittedly, it is something I have a hard time pinning down, because it literally classes as a developmental delay, where that particular delay manifest seems to vary between person to person, with a few fairly common ones like speech and social behavior. It has, I don't think I have well, it has been said we cannot see the forest for the trees. I think others cannot see the trees for the forest. Well, this is an exam of the opposite. They can't see the trees. They can't see the trees for the forest. In other words, where like literally everybody here is just on my wavelength or I'm on theirs, where I just know all the answers to the questions. Okay. So there's my rabbit hole of autism for the day. I'm going to stop reading here. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for coming along on this magical adventure. And next time I'll remember to do why am I pointing? I'll remember to do a table topic. And that's it. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining me. I love you. You're so great. Thank you for joining me. You're so special to me. I don't know you. You're probably special to me. If I met you, I'd be like, wow, this person's really special. Thank you. Bye-bye. See you later. Bye-bye.